G'day guys and welcome back today to another video on the Drewzy channel. Today I am joined by Jesse from True Footy to discuss our mid-season All Australian team. Jesse, how you doing over there, buddy?
Oh, great, mate. Absolutely not hungover and so keen to make this All Australian team with you.
We are super close to hitting 10k, Jesse. If we haven't hit 10k by now, you could be the 10,000th subscriber. So if you want to support the channel, there's a large majority of the audience that are not subscribed. We call them the filthy pigs. Join the Drewzy channel. Comment down below your All Australian team. Jesse, have you got any words of wisdom before we get into it?
We do have an exciting promotion going, actually. If you are the 10,000th subscriber to the Drewzy channel, you go into the draw to win an exciting plain blue t-shirt.
Great. Let's get into the video. Me and Jesse are going to go with 3 players for each position. So 3 defenders, 3 mids, 3 forwards, etc. Then 2 on the bench each. Do you want to kick us off with your defenders, Jesse?
I'm going to go with a couple of key backs. Sam Taylor from GWS has earned a spot for me, as has Harris Andrews, that is. Probably my 2 faves at the moment. There's a number of contenders, but I know that you've probably got another one in mind. So those are the 2 I've gone with as far as key backs go. The other one is Sam Taylor's teammates. I nearly said roommates, but Lockie Whitfield, I think, has also had an outstanding season. And the Giants have been up and down this year, and I feel like when he is nullified, that sort of goes a long way to beating the Giants, even though they're stacked. So I think those are my 3, Drews. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, Sam Taylor, I think he was out for a couple of weeks with a nasty concussion, but before that, he was, definitely an All-Australian caliber. Lockie Whitfield is so important for GWS with that. He's probably the first part of the Orange Tsunami to get that ball moving forward. And Harris Andrews has just been as good as ever this season. Such a consistent player. So I can't fault that defense from you, Jesse. You can probably fault mine, though, because as I usually am, I'm going to be biased. But I think Alex Pearce has pretty much been most people's consensus fullback this season. He provides a lockdown defensive role whilst also being really good at ground level, busting through tackles and getting the attack started. So he's really risen to his role as captain this year. He had a lot of criticism last year, but he's surprised a lot of people and has probably, to this point, been one of the best fullbacks in the league. Statistically, Freo have the second best defence in the league, maybe not after the weekend against the Bulldogs, where we conceded 150 points. But a big part of that has also been Luke Ryan, who has been one of the best sort of third tall intercepting defenders this season. He gets so much of the footy. He had a game against Richmond, which is not the most prestigious club at the moment, but he had like over 40 touches. Massive accumulator. Again, he's really solid defensively. So there's 2 Freo players. Get that bias out.
And that's the end of the video.
Thank you for watching. No, my 3rd is Max Holmes. I think he's been Geelong's most important player this year. Again, running defender similar to Lockie Whitfield, but the run that he provides through the middle of the ground for Geelong. He's silky with his skills, just a vital player for what Geelong are trying to do. Them first 7 games, they were red hot, and so was Max Holmes. They've had a bit of a form slump, but Max Holmes has been a massive improvement this year. So that would be our defenders. Jesse, what do you think of my choices?
I like it. I feel like we've still got so many unlucky players that didn't make it that I want to cram into this team. Luke Ryan probably isn't one that came to mind for me, but I do think he has been outstanding this year, so we'll see. But Max Holmes might even lay claim to being one of the most impactful, most improved players this year. Probably not number 1, but he's been really, really good, I agree.
Who's stiff to miss out as a defender, do you think? Mac Andrews had a pretty good season, but we've only seen it for half a season. Tom Stewart, I wouldn't say has had an All-Australian caliber year. James Sicily's sort of been a bit hit or miss.
Nick Blakey was probably the most unlucky for me, I think. And then even guys like Sheasel, Wangan Miller are probably a little bit behind that. But there's just so many half-back flankers you can fit into this team.
Do you want to talk about which defender we have on the bench, Jesse?
Yeah, Nick Martin is probably... he could be a walk-up start on the field. It's just so hard to pick this damn team. But again, one of the more impactful, most improved players in the comp, Nick Martin, absolutely. And his trajectory as a footballer has been unreal. Moved a little bit behind the footy this year, getting more of the footy. Big driver in Essendon being a good team this year.
For sure. Dane Zorko, Nick Blakey, Dan Houston, real stiff to miss out there, but you can only choose 22. Talking of tough choices, the midfield is so hard because you've got so many superstars in there. You're going to have to leave out some big names. Jesse, Who have you got in the midfield?
Well, I'll take the ruckman Max Gawn. I think we're probably going to agree that he's the clear number one choice. He's been outstanding. There's been a few contenders this year, but I think Max Gawn, he will retire as an absolute all-timer when the time comes, which hopefully isn't anytime soon. But, I think Bontempelli, especially as you saw firsthand against Fremantle on the weekend, what he can do, even with the flu, I think he's probably the most the biggest game breaker in the league when he's on, and been really consistent. And the other one is Nick Dacos, who probably has his doubters, and I don't know if that's a Collingwood thing. Is it a media thing because he gets overhyped? We're going to see that with Harley Reid as well. But what Dacos is doing, particularly in the last 6 weeks, he's completely evolved his game. He had 27 contested possessions out of 32 against someone that is escaping me right now. But if that doesn't demonstrate how much he's evolved into being a genuine on-baller, he's spending a lot of time at stoppages, then I don't know what does. He's been fantastic. So those three are locks for me.
I don't think anyone's really doubting Nick Dacos at the moment. Like, the whole footy world's talking about how impactful he is, but like...
Yeah, maybe not in like the media, but like comments, like people reject him,
Nick Dacos and Bontempelli are the two best players in the league, I think. Talk about game breakers. Nick Dacos pretty much willed Collingwood by himself to get back to win that game against North Melbourne. His gut running, as you said, his contested footy now is supreme. And Bont is just the Bont doing GOAT things. Gawn is a lock for the rock for me.
Came out a little Peter Griffin.
That's good. I've only got Herbert the Pervert. Sweet Jesus. Oh, Chris.
Come on, Jesse.
I wonder if kids these days understand those references that we just made. That's kind of mad to think.
Family Guy's
anyway, back to football. I'll start with Zach Merritt. We're talking about how good Essendon have been this year, and he's the skipper of Essendon. Best on ground in the Anzac Day game against some superstars. It's really damaging, absolutely so clean. Leads by example. Tough as nails, just always makes the right decisions. Zach Merritt has got to be in there. I've gone Caleb Sarong. Believe he's the leading disposal getter in the competition. One of the leading clearance players. Very slick. Had a tough game on the weekend, but at this point in the season, Sarong has had multiple best on ground performances. He's had like a 46 disposal game. He's broke Freo's records for clearances and that sort of thing. So he's having a career best year after being All Australian last year. And Zachy Butters as well, a similar type of player to Caleb Sarong. Short in stature, but hard as nails. Again, gut running, just absolutely class. Stiff to miss out Connor Rozee here. We've left out Patrick Cripps, who is so tough to leave out of a side like this, but you had a pretty good point for leaving out Cripps, Jesse. Do you just want to expand on that for the viewers?
No, look, Cripps has been outstanding. Like, a number of players that we're going to leave out. It's just a case of competition. And you look across the players that we mentioned, if you look at even just the coaches' votes, the midfielders that are ahead of him include Heaney, Dacos, Bontempelli, Sarong, Warner, Goulden, Merritt, and Max Gawn as well. So as far as cramming into a 5 to 7 midfield team, Cripps is just a little bit unlucky.
Could maybe squeeze him into the forward line, but I love Cripps as well, so that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the forwards, Jesse. Who have you got?
So I've got a couple of talls to offer you. The first one's probably Ben King. Having an outstanding year, starting to really deliver on the promise. 38 goals at the moment. That is outstanding from 13 games. A serious Coleman contender. And I think if you're a serious Coleman contender, you're going to at least go close to this team. Another one is Jake Waterman. I think this guy has been absolutely unbelievable. And I don't think we need to really sell him that hard. I think there's been a lot of conversation about what Jake Waterman's doing. When you consider as well, 6 months ago, his career was under threat because of some sort of illness. He got some sort of infection, nearly retired, lost 10 kilos. Now he's come back and is one of the more impactful forwards in the game. Jake's, he's traditionally been a high half forward because of his endurance and, he's not particularly tall. And now he's evolved into this contested marking beast and he's only about 192 centimeters, but you just see him come from the back of a pack and take a massive contested mark. It's a guy who's about to turn 26, I think, roughly, really start to physically mature, and his competitiveness has really given West Coast an extra leg this year, that's for sure. The third one, to try and cheat a midfielder into to this. Isaac Heaney, we didn't forget him. He's part of the team. We're going to slam him into the forward line aggressively here because he's too good to leave out and arguably been one of the best players in the comp. And I know he's probably spending more time on ball than anywhere else at the moment, but he hits the scoreboard really effectively. Like he kicks about a goal a game at least. I think he had 2 on the weekend, and can obviously play forward. I really feel like he should have been in midfielder, but that's all right. But yeah, either way, Heaney is a walk-up start to this team. So those are my 3. Waterman, Heaney and King.
Look, it wouldn't be an all-Australian team without a controversial midfielder getting pushed into the forward line. And Heaney definitely does rest forward, or at least push into the forward line. So we're going to push him into the forward line ourselves. Great calls there. Ben King. Waterman's been outstanding this year. And to kick the amount of goals that he's kicking in a struggling side is also admirable. Not trying to pot you there, but I kind of have. All right, let's go to my forwards. We're pushing another midfield into the forward line with Christian Petrarca. His season's just been ended, so he's not going to be All-Australian because I don't think he's going to play the specified number of games. But up until this point in the season, Petrarca has been one of the best players in the competition. He must have the highest percentage of disposals that lead to scores out of any player in the competition. Petrarca has been one of the most damaging players. He single-handedly brought Melbourne back into that game against Carlton, which they narrowly lost, but they were gone for all love and money. They slung Petrarca forward. He kicked 5 goals. So you can make a case for him being a forward, I think. I'm going to chuck in Charlie Curnow, easiest player to put in this team by a mile, leading the Coleman or tied with Ben King. Just a generational talent. Charlie Curnow. He's the closest thing I feel that we've had to what you hear about your Wayne Careys, your traditional key forwards of the past. Curnow is that guy for me. Such an aerial threat, but he's as good at ground level. I'm going to go Isaac Rankin for my 3rd forward. Been playing a little bit more on ball, but again, he does go forward. In rounds 11 to 14, I think he was the number 1 ranked player in the competition, which is funny because his name is Rankin. Yes, we're back. We're so back.
We're going to get so many subscribers.
Definitely been Adelaide's best player this year. They need Rankin to be playing at his best if they're any chance because they're looking shocking at the moment. But he hasn't looked shocking. So that would be our forward line. Who else would you have on your bench in the forward line, Jesse?
Yeah, I think to balance out the forward mix there, I mean, we've picked a lot of mids that play forward. I think all of them are legitimate forwards. Maybe Heaney probably hasn't played there much this year in comparison, but Petrarca definitely has, and I think Rankin has played enough there. But to pick a more traditional small forward to balance out this team, Tyson Stengel has been, I think, the most prolific small forward in terms of goals this year. I think he's on about 27. Geelong are in a bit of a form slump at the moment, but I think he's recaptured some of his best form this year at times this year. And he's got a few friends there. Brian Myers is another shout, but I want to go with Tyson Stengel.
Yeah, provides that small option. Been an All-Australian before. Had a bit of a down year last year, but he's back playing his best footy. And I'm pretty sure Geelong have just tabled a $700K a year, 4-year deal for him as well. So, that form has been rewarded with some moolah. You've discussed Nick Martin, so that just leaves me with my 2 bench players. I think you can't leave out Noah Anderson. The footy that this guy is playing up on the Gold Coast is phenomenal. Such a clean disposer of the ball, an accumulator. Just the stuff that he's been pulling off this year he's just been a pleasure to watch. And then my other player and the last player in the All-Australian team is Chad Warner. This guy plays with flair. He enjoys playing his footy. His leg speed has been a feature of his game this year. Just a powerful player, can kick goals from anywhere. Like you were saying, the Sydney midfield do get up the ground and score a lot of goals. And he's just been a weapon, all-round weapon. Had a massive breakout year. We knew he was a star, but he's emerged as a genuine All-Australian contender. And I'd be shocked if he didn't make the team. So that rounds out the list. Obviously, we're missing out a lot of players here. So comment down below your full All-Australian team and see how you go squeezing them all into a 22-man squad. How do you think we went, Jesse?
Yeah, pretty good. Naturally, we had to leave out a number of players that should make it. Like I said, I'm looking at a list of players that didn't make my team here, and I feel guilty. But nonetheless, we've had some outstanding candidates. That midfield in particular it's absolutely humming right now. So I have run out of words.
I have run out of words.
I'm so fucking hungover. I was like, what am I saying? That midfield is humming, bro.
Thanks for watching, guys. Go check out Jesse's channel, True Footy, one of the best in the business. Thank you for joining me, Jesse. We'll see you in the next video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're enjoying the content. Comment down below who would be in your All-Australian team. Leave a like on the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care. You plonkers.